Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting with Slavie. In today's video, we are going to be using the Magic Iris Snow Globe add-on along with the Snow Globe scenes that came out in the most recent Lawn Fawn release. Well, not the most recent, but the Fall-Winter 2020 release. And I haven't gotten an opportunity to use the Snow Globe add-on, pardon me. So I was really excited to finally get to take it out and use it. And I am also playing with my new stencils. So this is the Hillside Stencil. And I am using tumbled glass, broken china, and chipped sapphire to blend out a background. I've blocked off the bottom because that's going to be my snowy hills. And we're also going to build a magic iris, obviously, to go with the snow globe. So the ink blending for this card is particularly lengthy. But the good news is I have learned how to put in chapters. So if you guys check out the description below, you can jump around if you choose to your favorite part of my videos, and they are labeled underneath. While you're down there, make sure you hit subscribe and the notification bell if you are not a subscriber. If you are, thank you so much, and I would really appreciate a like if you like what you see today. Okay, moving on, back to the card. We are now moving on to using Blueprint Sketch just to do the top of the hills. Now, I'm struggling a little bit with the stencil here because I used pixie spray on it, and the ink at the top is still rather wet, so it didn't properly adhere to the top of that card, which is fine. So I switched to a different stencil which doesn't have pixie spray on it, and I just held it really firmly in place. Okay, next we're putting some tumbled glass on the inside of the magic iris, and then I got to play around with some unusual color combinations here. So I'm using dry marigold, and then I'm going to use tea dye ink on the edges. And I have never used this combination before. I absolutely love it. When I showed it to my mom actually said that the snow globe looked like it was made out of a leather material. So if you're looking for a leather combination, dried marigold and tea dye for the win. I was quite impressed. And I just went around the edges with the tea dye ink. I put a little bit more on the bottom, and then on the interior as well of the circle. When I finished with that, I took the sausage pieces that come with the magic iris, which is the inside of the mechanism, and I did the same thing. I went over the whole of them with the dried marigold, and then the inside that is going to be turning into the magic iris, I just went over with the tea dye there to give it a little bit more dimension. And you'll see that on the finished card. And then as an added bonus, because I don't like to see the white when I am opening and closing the magic iris, I've started going around with the darker ink of whatever color combination I use on the inside of the circle. In this case, it was the tea dye ink. Then these pieces on the bottom there, the two long pieces, those ones attached to the snow globe add-on, and I used fired brick and aged mahogany on those, and I used the same color combination on the arrow piece up at the top, and that attaches to the arm that moves the magic iris. I had to take out my adhesive eraser because the bottom piece there had some adhesive muck on it, so I just erased that away to be able to ink blend it. And then I used aged mahogany on the actual arrow, which I would not recommend doing. I would probably, if I could redo this card, I would probably do it in tea dye, just because it was more of a tone-on-tone look, which I didn't enjoy in the finished product. For that last piece there, that is the label for the snow globe, which you can actually leave out, but for the sake of I did the work and I added it, I figured I'd let you know what I used. It was Vintage Photo and Walnut Stain. Now here, I am using the Snowy Sky Stencil, again from Lawn Fawn, linked below, and the Gina K Glitz Glitter Gel in white. I had allowed this background to dry for maybe 10-15 minutes, and then I applied the glitter gel. There you can see it, it's so pretty. And I immediately took my stencil to the sink and washed it with warm soapy water so that that gunk wouldn't get on there. And then from there, I wanted to set that off to dry because I wanted to make sure that was completely dry before we assembled our card. And I did the coloring while that was going on. So there is not a lot of coloring, but I hope you enjoy it. Okay, great. So now that the assembly is done, or sorry, the coloring is done, we're going to move on to the assembly. So I'm using some washi tape to hold these sausage pieces in place. And I am avoiding the tip of the sausage piece. You can kind of see that there's something there. That's an X, and that's where we're applying our adhesive. I am using mini glue dots. It's the 3/16 size. That is the perfect size for making the magic iris. Once you have put those on the little X's, you take another ring and you just attach it in the open position. This ring is what's going to make it open and close. So from here I remove my washi tape, and you can see that the bottom piece is the one that's been cut out with that flux capacitor piece. And in the top right hand corner here, I'm going to link to the original Lawn Fawn video for the assembly of this in case you haven't seen it and you're slightly confused. So on the back, we are now using liquid glue to adhere these stabilizer pieces, which kind of look like these long rectangles, but they're shaped at the top and bottom, I guess, on the edges there, to follow the curve of the magic iris. Once those are adhered, we're going to adhere our little handle. I like to do this with two of them. So I put one on the outside and I line it up so that it creates this triangle with one of the stabilizer pieces. It doesn't matter which one. And then I put it on the top and bottom so that it kind of matches up like that. Then you put the third ring on top and your adhesive on the remainder of the stabilizer pieces, and you glue that down. It's hard to see, but I'm not gluing it down all the way to the edge. And the reason for that is because you do want it to stay kind of loose so that it freely moves that ring on the inside. Okay, so once that was done, I just continued assembling. I attached my arrow to my thing, and I actually made a mistake here in that I attached the snow globe before checking where my magic iris was going to be on the card. So don't do this. Line it up with your card. You want to line it up in the closed position on the card. I lucked out because it ended up working out that it was exactly where I needed it to be and it wasn't overhanging. But there's another card, which I will link above to the right, that I did at the same time. So it was a really great learning experience for me to remember to do this with the magic iris. And yeah, just make sure that it lines up properly, unless that doesn't bother you, in which case go nuts. And I adhered these pieces to complete the snow globe look. And then this one, which got covered up, but it's okay, I heat embossed it in gold. It said "Joy to You," which is from the Snow Globe Scenes stamp set. It was super cute. I was a little sad that I had to cover it up, but oh well, it is what it is. Now the other thing you'll notice is that I folded in those pieces from the sausages so that they're on the inside. And the reason for that is because they kind of hang out over the magic iris. And normally the previous magic iris cards that I've done cover up the iris with the add-on. And in this case, I didn't have that. So I folded them in so that you wouldn't be able to see them when the iris was opening and closing. So I went ahead and I heat embossed my sentiment, which came from, I want to say it came from Winter Skies. I'm not 100% sure. I think it did though, because Snow Globe Scenes doesn't really have sentiments. Yes. So it came from Winter Skies, and I heat embossed it with silver embossing powder to match that background. That's how I decide if I'm going to be doing gold or silver, is based on the colors that it is hanging out with. In this case, it's a little bit more of a lighter feel, so I chose silver. I then adhered that panel to my card base and I pressed it down really well. I made sure that those the Glitz Glitter dots were dry. And then before adhering it, I put glue on the little stabilizer pieces, but nowhere else, so it doesn't interfere with the mechanism. And this is where I made my second mistake. I attached the magic iris before putting in my center. Can you tell it's been a while since I've made one of these? And yet I still managed to knock it out relatively quickly. Go figure. Okay, so then I'm attaching my little bears, which are so cute, with a combination of foam tape and glue. And I am going to be attaching one of the trees with foam tape and glue, and the rest of them I'm just going to glue directly to the background. And I kind of use them to obstruct the fact that the the snow globe is kind of hanging out in the middle of nowhere. Because, man, this thing is massive on an A2 size card, but in a good way. I like it. So then I took my tumbled glass inside and I put it in. Now the other thing is, because my background is so cute, I probably could have gotten away with just putting in the snow globe scene and it would have been fine. The fact that I added this was kind of a last minute decision, and you can see that I kind of lifted my magic iris a little bit, so I just went in with more glue and I stuck it down really well. Now if you've got a background like mine, you want to make sure you're using glue rather than tape runner, because the glue gets into the nooks and crannies, which the tape runner doesn't, so you're not going to get a good stick. Okay, moving on. The snow globe comes with this little light accent thing, and I was playing around with this idea of putting glue on it and then attacking it with glitter, which worked out really well. I thought it was super cute, but it wasn't quite enough sparkle for me, so I also attacked it with the aqua shimmer pen, because why not, right? Okay, so that's the end of the card, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this card, and if you haven't yet, please hit the like button, and I will see you in the next one. I've also linked a few more videos at the end of this one, so if you want to stick around and watch some more, please do so. I'm happy to have you. Have a great day!